Okay, sorry I cut everybody off.
No.
Nope, there's Rachel.
And there's Rachel.
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Before I do that, Sarah, could you please pass me an agenda? So I can go off of that. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Thank you. All right, before we get started, I just wanted to say that today was a horrific day in Minnesota. And there's not really anything that can be said, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't say something. And so it's terrible. And we should be able to be in our community in spaces together and feel safe. So I just want to acknowledge that, and it's probably weighing on a lot of us as we do this meeting. So putting that out there. Sarah, can we please have a roll call?
Yes. Laura Greenlee-Karp,
Here.
Sarah Zahradka,
Here.
Dave Andren and Lloyd Grachek are absent today. Ben Hansen,
Here.
Ingrid Koller,
Here.
Rachel Lucas, Cassidy Schweer.
Here.
Awesome. Okay, so now we'll take a motion to adopt the agenda.
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. The next motion is for the approval of the minutes.
Make a motion.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Great. The meeting is open to the public, but we don't have any members of the public here this evening. So we're going to move right on to commission business and talk about the Southwood Nature Preserve Maintenance Plan.
Yes, so we have the pleasure of having our Public Works Director, Ron Ritchie, here today to talk about the plan that our city's horticulturalist developed for Southwood.
Hello, thanks for having me. Yeah, like Sarah said, like we talked about the last time I was here about Southwood plan, I didn't have a plan because I didn't know what weeds and things were invasive. So we were lucky enough to have a horticulturist that's summer help for us that is really great. And she put this whole thing together. I can't take any credit for it other than sitting down and kind of, in what we have here, I think it was 16 pages, and we're like, hey, we got to dial this back a little bit because she put a ton of effort into it. And you know, the big part of it is, you know, we used to have that task force, and they'd kind of dictate what happened or point out what needed to be sprayed. We dug through our archives or just what we had of anything from Southwood, and Josh Bond, our city forester, he just had a couple small maps, which are in the packet, but they're modified a little bit by Adea, our horticulturist. But there were some areas of different prairie grasses and different sections in the Southwood area that Kathy Trendle, who used to kind of oversee this whole area, she kind of had, it was not like a detailed plan, like I said, it was just a map with just kind of certain areas in it and what she kind of wanted to see out there. So we had a horticulturist walk through the park. She went through it multiple times. We took the maps. I did some digging on who sprayed weeds in there before and what they did. I talked to them. It was Minnesota Native Landscapes that did that work. And basically talking to them, there would just be areas like staked out or ribboned out and saying, hey, we want you to spray this chemical for this weed to you know, take care of whatever needed to be taken care of. So basically, what Adea did is we walked out there, we took the maps, kind of went off of those, and then the first thing that we're going to have to address out there is the buckthorn. She said the buckthorn has taken over most of the park, so that is kind of the biggest. That's the first place we're gonna start with that. So if you look in your packet, she just kind of put some project goals. You know, fire hazard reduction. She looked at doing some community engagement thing, like having some days if we had some people come out to help if we were gonna pull buckthorn or if we're gonna have that done. This is just kind of something that we can look, you guys can look at, talk about, add to, ask questions of me. Like I said, I'm not gonna act like I'm in, what my plan is I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna talk to Prairie Restorations, they maintain a lot of our rain gardens, and then I'm gonna talk to Minnesota Native Landscapes, kind of show them what we're looking at here. I'm gonna sit down with Hidea, with them, and just kind of get an idea, kind of come up with, a plan for this. As you know or may not know, there's like 6,000, I think it's $7,000 that's slated out in the budget. And basically, it's just a line item that got moved out of the park maintenance budget. And I can't remember what my exact maintenance budget is, but let's call it $40,000 for talking sakes. They just took, so my budget got reduced to $33,000, and this just got line itemed as Southwood Park. That's how it's been. But technically, it's a maintenance budget for that. So that is kind of, what we'll be looking at, as far as coming up with, like I said, I think the first thing we're going to focus on is trying to take care of the buckthorn in certain areas. And if there's some invasive weeds or whatever it might be, we'll sit down with these two companies, get some pricing, and get their ideas on what they think is best to treat this. Maintaining the paths, making sure the trails and the overhanging trees and brush and all that stuff, is safe, kind of our normal maintenance that we do out there mowing. So, I don't know if you've read through this and you got questions about it. I'm more than happy to answer, but that's kind of the big, high level view of kind of what I'm looking at doing at Southwood Park at this time. I think she had some, the prescribed burns, the invasive species removal, dead tree removal, prescribed burns, the burns are kind of a tricky thing to do because they got to be done in the spring, and depending on if the spring is really wet or if it's dry, there's just a small window of time when you can do it. It's super good to do that, it sounds like, but if you wait too long, then birds are nesting and stuff, and you don't want to do it then. So that prescribed burn thing, that's not a solid, I know over the years of myself being on the fire department, when I was on the fire department, we would do it some years we wouldn't. So that's just kind of the overall plans. And then she has future improvements in here. She talked about making maybe some type of natural learning center out there, stumps or something that you could host some classes and educate people and, out there. So she had called it, what'd she call it, auditorium. And I'm like, well, that might be a little much. I don't know what your definition of an auditorium is, but it's just kind of a learning center. I know the Cowan School had one back in the woods that they use. So, yeah, that's kind of the overall, the start of the plan here. So,
Great, yeah.
It's really awesome, Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know this was a lot of work to do this, but I think it feels really good moving forward to have a plan for this park.
It really does.
And it looks good.
okay, great. Yeah, thanks. And like I said, for me, I just kind of tell you how it is. I don't know enough about it. I'm learning some more here, and like I said, we're just fortunate to have this. Hidea has put a lot of work into it, and she's super excited to sit down with these companies and talk. And like I said, at least I'll know more what we're talking about and what we're paying for, and I can definitely relay that on to all you guys. And again, if you guys have questions, I might not be able to answer them, but I'm definitely open for feedback and.
So she'll be around when the conversations are happening with the two.
Yes, I'm going to set it up here.
Okay,
She
great.
was actually going to come here tonight, but she was on vacation. She was
okay.
going to,
Yeah.
come and talk too, but she's on vacation this week. So when she gets back next week, I'm going to try to get set up. I've already talked to both Minnesota Native Landscapes and Prairie Restorations, so we can, sit down and talk with them and kind of tell them what we're thinking. And they can tell us a little bit about what they've done and kind of focus in on where they've done, and then she can confirm that this stuff is, what we need to do, so.
Yeah, I just want to second Sarah and just say thank you, because this is a huge thing, and we've been on, those of us who've been around for a while, Southwood has been talked about quite a bit, and there have been so many dedicated volunteers, so it feels really good to see that all of their work is not going to be, taken over by buckthorn, and that there's a plan, so that's great. Thank you.
I do have a couple questions from Dave Andren, who couldn't be here tonight, but I just want to get some answers from you. So 2 things he asked about. One was the dead trees that are along the paths that she identified. Is there a timeline to remove those? And then the other one was, when we do prescribe burns, is it possible to send notifications to the nearby residents? Because recently they have not been getting that, so.
Yes, we can definitely send out notifications for that when we're doing that. And the dead trees, depending on where they are, like I said, a lot of times, we try to do that, remove, like, they'll cut them down, put them off to the side of the trails. Just because getting bigger pieces of equipment back there to pick this stuff up, we don't want to damage the trails, or, and we do it when the ground is frozen, and, yeah, and I've talked to Dave, multiple times, about this and when we do it. But, yeah, I mean, if there's enough people there that walk through that Southwood Park area that have my number, when there's something dangerous or something, we get on it right away, so, yeah.
Thank you. This is awesome. And I'm really excited about the potential of the auditorium or the little classroom piece. I think that's really exciting. I think there would be a lot of great usage out of that, and I feel like we could get some new users in that park and have it, just have a little rejuvenation moment happening. So I'm excited about that. And I didn't even think about it, but it feels like we should have little path signs in there. So if you don't know where the park is, or if you're not familiar with the park, you know which way to go. So I love that she thought about that too. Or that you.
Or even things in the park.
Yeah.
What's an oak tree? What
Yeah.
kind of oaks? How many different oaks are there?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
helpful to
Yeah.
me.
Tell me which one this is.
We'll just make signs that say, Ron, this is buckthorn. And just with an arrow.
That's, I'm
point it
perfectly
to-
fine with that. I know what buckthorn is and where the oak tree is, but
I don't.
Perfect.
This is a good one. So I do have a question in regards to this, because this is a fantastic timeline that she put together for us moving forward. And this has been a big hot topic just in city council in some of the meetings as community comes in. Is this something that, all right, we're going to move forward? Does this need to be brought to council's attention to say, yep, we're going to rock this timeline? What does that look like? Because you have the budget that, 7,000? Is that what you said?
yeah, I believe it's 7,000.
Oh, it's 7,000.
6,500 or 7,000. I heard it got moved up, but I believe it's 7,000.
So that we can chip away at every year that we go. So this really doesn't need to go through council at all. This can just say, all right, Parks and Rec, we have this communication here. This is the timeline, we're gonna keep it, and then,
Yes, I don't see any reason why this would have to go to council. This is a budgeted number. It's in there, it's maintenance. And it's basically, hey, this is kind of, I've been told, hey, it's up to you to figure out how you want to spend the maintenance money or do the maintenance on it. And like I said, for me, I'm going to sit down with these 2 companies, get a couple prices just to make sure that we're in check with that stuff. And then I would, proceed forward with this stuff. When we start getting into if we start getting into bigger things or looking at doing this, learning
Auditorium.
center, auditorium or a dome over it or whatever we're gonna do. Obviously then we talk about that.
right,
Yeah, that's,
excellent.
so like I said, my thoughts is that we're gonna meet with these people, come up with a plan, and then, I don't know if it's better to spray in the spring or in the fall, or how that
They'll
works.
know.
So I'll learn that and find out, so we can keep you updated on what that is. If it's like, hey, we got a plan, it's not gonna happen till spring, we'll relay that to you, so you know.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
I just looked up what Virginia creeper is, and I literally just spent 2 days ripping it out of my yard. So I can't imagine doing it. I can't imagine doing it at Southwood, so.
Yeah.
I was told 2 bushes in my yard are buckthorn that I've been trimming. So there's that.
Maybe
I'm like, oh, okay.
we all
Like,
need
that's
arrow
buckthorn.
signs. This is buckthorn.
We all need that.
All right.
I should probably Google mine now that you say it.
Okay.
True story.
Do we feel okay moving on to our next topic?
If you
sorry,
guys,
Ron.
yeah, if you guys, I'll real quick give you a quick update on Casey in the ball fields. We're working on that as we speak.
Yay.
We had dirt lined up from Cowern to fill in the holes, and then the timelines didn't work out on it, or they end up using the dirt. They thought they were gonna have a bunch of excessive dirt. So then with the road project that's going on up behind Casey, we worked with the contractor on it with them to get some dirt. Well, the amount of dirt that they needed to get rid of only did a small portion of it. So the fields are taken out, the shelters are taken down.
Wow.
The concrete pads are still in, they're gonna be removed here in the next week, but I'm working on trying to line up some dirt so we don't have to pay for it. We're gonna pay for black dirt, topsoil on the top, but I'm just trying to, there's like dirt sites on Marketplace where we can get dirt and exchange, and sometimes we have excessive dirt that we're looking to get rid of. So that's a work in progress right now. We got the irrigation that we need for that, to water that, so when we get it seeded, that'll be taken care of. Yeah, we removed some cottonwood trees that were back there. One of them had a big split in it. We took a lot of heat over that for people that walk that path a lot. Why we remove these beautiful trees, and we're removing all the ash trees. We are very sensitive to what trees. Josh, our forester, he don't want to cut a tree down unless it absolutely have to. So he makes kind of, between him and myself, we make the decisions on what trees are going to be removed. There were some people that were not happy about that, but we got them in a good place. So, like I said, that's what's kind of going on with Casey. It's a work in progress, but like the big stuff, the irrigation stuff is in and installed. And then, like I said, we're just kind of working on dirt right now for trying to, keep it kind of a lower cost. So we'll see what happens. The windscreens for Housie Park pickleball courts were ordered, I think about 2 weeks ago. So they're 4 to 6 weeks out for that, so they'll be coming. We'll see what time of the year they come. If we get them in November, I don't know if I'll put them up, but
Makes
they're
sense.
ordered. They should be here, I think it was 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Playground at Polar Park has been ordered.
Oh,
That is 10 to 12 weeks out for it. But I ended up ordering the playground that you guys spec'd out.
oh,
I reached out to the other vendors that we use for the playgrounds, and to try to, what I was afraid of is, I'm like, here's where it's got to fit, but a lot of them were totally different than what you guys had picked out, and I don't want, you guys to think, oh, I just got this, I figured you guys put some time and effort into it. The company, we've never used them, I just wanted to make sure that they were a reputable company, so it checked out, they were all good. But that is ordered. We had to pay like 55% down on it. So that actually, it just got paid at, I think, this last council meeting that got okayed. So that's 10 to 12 weeks out. More than likely, that won't be put in this year, but we'll get it. We'll get it scheduled. I'm sure it'll be something that's done in the spring. So that's ordered.
if for some reason you have a warm fall and you guys decide to put it in early, would you just send the commission an email just so we know?
Yep.
Sometimes those things are a fun surprise, but it'd be nice to know so we could, engage the community to let them know,
I will definitely let you know.
although it would make sense that it goes in the spring,
Well,
but
I'm
just in
just saying
case.
that's worst case scenario. If
Yeah.
we have the opportunity and it's a decent fall, I'd rather get it done and have it ready to go, but we'll see what happens. Urban Ecology Center, we put a picnic table up at just up at that observation deck. I know we talked about that and where,
DNR.
whole DNR
Yeah.
and whatever, so there's a picnic table up there. And then I actually got they came in last week, all the parts for the Gaga Ball pit that will be put up at Northwood. So I bought their metal frames and plastic top coats that go over, or safety things that go over the top of a green treated board. But it's something that we can bolt together and take apart, since we're gonna put it in the Northwood hockey rink for now, and we'll see how it goes. So that is in the shop, and I got it set aside right now for rain days. We lost all of our summer help. The last ones were done last week. So now we're back to just our normal crew. So we should be able to get that out there. We'll get that out there this fall for sure. But like I said, those parts came in last week for it. So just kind of an update on some of the things that we've talked about. And
Those are really exciting updates, actually. I wasn't expecting to hear any of those. You've been busy, Ron. My gosh. Yay.
Thank you.
yep. Any questions for me before I go?
Feels like you got, time on your hands now. You could do, we need to do a few more projects for you. Let's get going.
You can start at my house.
Yeah.
If we get any leads on dirt, we'll send it to you.
If you do,
If we get any dirt on dirt.
need like 25 dump truck loads.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
that's a lot.
I mean, I know people, they probably just have it laying around.
Yeah, a 5-gallon bucket won't do us much.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
It's all
So any
dirt.
other questions?
It's awesome, Ron.
No,
Yay.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Okay, is the next one the McKnight?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the McKnight survey.
Perfect. So we have talked about this last couple meetings. We finally got a estimate from E.G. Root and Sons, which is a company that the city has used previously to get surveys on properties. And I have included the estimate in your packet, totaling $27,700. That would be for the entire lot of McKnight, including like establishing boundaries, highlighting utilities. It would have soil tests, pretty much everything that we would need in order to even consider having designs done, like engineered designs for that place. And so what I have, I presented I put the quote in the packet for you to review. And then what I need tonight is if you all agree to recommend this go to city council, which it'll tentatively go next week to get formal approval from council on the funding for this. Basically, we would be moving funding that we already requested from council. It would be taking money, we asked for $100,000 for the Casey Lake reutilization this year. We're not nearly using that because we're doing it in-house. So it would be reallocating those funds. So just need if there's any questions or concerns, and ultimately a vote on that.
Can I just ask one question, since I don't see land surveys and their costs very much? Does that feel like a reasonable, that's kind of what the going rate is? Okay,
Everyone that we got like high-level estimates for were around that $30,000 range.
okay.
And you've used this company before?
Yes.
Many times?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do we think?
Great,
I think that's the next step, isn't it?
yeah, let's keep moving on it.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
need a recommendation or a
A
motion?
motion, yeah.
Okay,
A motion to recommend it go to council.
okay. Would anyone like to make a recommendation that we?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
I make a recommendation that we move forward with the E.G. Rudd and Sons estimate of $27,400 or $700 to provide a land survey for McKnight Fields.
I second the motion to recommend.
Okay, great. Any,
Thank you.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Now, council just needs to.
Thank you for doing that, Sarah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You and Ron are just moving all this stuff along. Look at you guys go.
We're trying. Okay, so the next thing is the staff report.
Is that about this e-bike?
Yes.
The what?
Okay.
So, my boss, the Community Development Director, Ken Roberts, has been tasked with creating a new ordinance for the city of North St. Paul regarding e-bikes and motorized foot scooters. What I have attached in the packet is something that Ken wanted your feedback on. They're just snippets that are related to parks or other public property. To get your feedback, if you think any language should be taken out, added. Essentially, what this is just to make sure that there's safe riding of these, of the bikes and the scooters, making sure there's no damage of our facilities. That's ultimately the goal, but if there's different language you want to see in here, or you're happy with it, just kind of getting feedback.
I think it looks good. I feel like I knew this was coming, and I assume it's coming on a broader scale within the city as well, because it's needed.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do people think?
I think it covers all the bases.
I have a question that maybe it's not necessarily on here. So I know there's an ordinance that bicycles can't use sidewalks. I assume that applies to e-bikes. Does that have to be written somewhere? I'm just thinking about, like, as we talk a lot about ADA accessibility, that bikes like that going very fast, competing with people who need the sidewalk for walking or wheelchairs or something like that, if that's implied within this, or like as we think about our trails, like obviously a bike on a trail makes a lot of sense, but if sidewalk, that's maybe for the city, but.
Yeah, there's going to be
Okay.
some language in there about the sidewalks. I think they're primarily, in all honesty, focusing on downtown, because there's been some issues down there. But there will be some general language as well.
Yeah, I would never have thought to do this, but yeah, it's, if we're getting 25 trucks of dirt, we don't want someone tearing that up.
All right, well, if there's no other feedback, I'll certainly pass that along. And then I would encourage to just keep an eye out. I don't think it'll be at the next meeting, but one of these next coming council meetings will be the larger ordinance. So if there's any feedback or anything there too, certainly let me know.
Okay.
How are they gonna enforce that? It's just like if it's seen?
Essentially, yeah.
I know that's tricky.
And honestly, state statute already is in place here. So there are already big regulations. Like you can't, I did not know this, but you can't be under 16 and ride an e-bike.
Really?
Oh,
Can't be under 12 and ride a motorized foot scooter.
oh,
So those are already technically rules.
don't they make those for kids?
Yeah, that, it's a, I think it's more of a, just get this on the books and if it's needed, it's there, so,
Great.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I just have a couple other things that weren't on here, but I'll just go through them quickly. So the park passport program is now up and running. Rachel was one of the participants. So far, we have 3 people that have completed it all and submitted everything, and it's been great. So thank you.
Yeah.
We'll continue to push that, and if you know people too that you think would be interested in doing it, it's really cool, so.
Do you have the passport with you up here?
It's not an actual passport, we just ask for the photos.
Oh, fine.
Of the 10 parks, and then you come in and we have a sticker that Ava created and a zipper pull charm that she created as well, so you get those. Then you're entered into a grand prize drawing at the end of the year.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think a great way to advertise for that would be if we could get like a flyer and put it up in the parks and like the entrance areas.
Yes.
I think that'll get the people who are already there and then are into it.
Right, they'll just take pictures.
Maybe at the Autumn Arts Fest too, do we have a booth at that? Maybe putting some brochures at that?
Yes.
We'll put that at the city tent.
Or if it's on are we doing a handout at the parade this year? I know we used to do like a bookmark, but we'll be past our events kind of at that point, but.
Yeah, there isn't one. I mean, I can certainly propose that is something we have this year, but we don't have one.
Maybe you guys talk about it. I don't want to create more work for you guys, but if there's other things, because I know before we passed out candy and like a bookmark, and I do think that really helped
Yeah,
the
no, that's a great
Autumn Art Festival get people at it, but I know this year the parade's after that, so.
QR code for the program.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so that it doesn't have to describe the whole thing.
Yeah.
A bookmark with a QR code might be really handy, and
Leave them on.
Is there a piece on the website that has it? Just, yeah, it's simple. I think that's great.
yeah.
That's a really good idea. We'll do that for sure.
If you all do a flyer, can you send us the digital version?
Yeah.
The school district has a digital flyer system for each individual school, that if you go to that school, anytime any one of that activity gets uploaded, you get an email advertising the program with the flyer. So we can ask if we can put that digital flyer in the school district too.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I just have an update. I have a written statement from our city manager, Brian Frandl, about the new student build and kind of confirming its new location, which is where a potential park would be, that we talked about with HGA. So I just want to read his statement just to make sure that it's all clear. So we just finished up our last student build house at 20076 6th Street with our open house scheduled for Thursday, September 4th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. This program has been great for our community. It improves housing stock and adds value to the surrounding neighborhood. The city has done about 15 student build projects with District 916, and as we move into the planning stage for the next student build home for the 2025-2026 school year, we still had not secured the property for the project. The only buildable property that the city owns was the property located at 2357 7th Avenue. In speaking individually with the city council, most of the members wanted to move forward with this property for a student build home. I understood it had been brought up a time or two at the Parks Commission that this was a possibility, but I wanted to shed some light on how we came to this decision. I know one of the renderings for this lot that HGA had put together had a plan showing a community garden. Though the garden could do well there, I think that the student build house could spark the neighboring homeowners into doing home improvements that they may be thinking of as well. Thank you for the work you do for our parks and city. And he wanted to note that if you have any questions or comments, please contact me or himself directly. So
Is that, so that's like right on the corner?
it's at the 5 corners, so it's that where that community garden was.
They already cut down the
That's already- That's
trees.
already staked out?
Yeah.
For the house? Yeah.
I saw that on the way
I
here.
saw that too.
Yes.
I am just going to say this on record, that I think that's, I'm not as good with words as Laura. I think that giving up parkland for a house that we're going to make revenue on one time, and I understand that the city and the school district get an opportunity to build houses, but I think them taking parkland without the consent of the park board is really wrong. And we had paid money to do plans for that. I don't think the homeowners around that area personally are going to benefit more from another home versus a community thing that they could all use. And that this was a decision to benefit a one-time benefit for something that could have spent hundreds of years benefiting our community. And I just, I feel like it's a little crappy that they would not have gotten approval from the park board before they take our parkland. And I know there's a huge lawsuit going on within Minnetonka about the same thing. And I'm just going to say that out loud so people know how I feel about the matter. They probably wouldn't be surprised, but I did notice those trees cut down as I was driving, and that was my first thought, as I know that they had mentioned it. We weren't surprised. They had mentioned that they wanted that. We had spoken it out against it, that we felt not to give up parkland that we can never get back. So that's my piece.
So is there just a plan to have one house on that area? Is the rest still parkland? Are there plans to turn the rest of the parkland into housing?
So, no, not at this time. So it will be either one single-family home or a duplex there. The rest of it behind it that we had talked about, making a park, clearing all the trees and everything, is not going to be developed. Not to my knowledge, he's not talking about that. So that would still be available parkland.
Until 2027, when they don't have land for another house.
Conceptually, that just seems weird to have a park, or to have a house surrounded by park, no other houses by it. And it makes me nervous that they're gonna plan on.
There are other houses. It would be on the end of the block.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
there are.
Okay.
The park would be behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but theoretically, right, and I'm not saying that I'm just trying to find the silver lining in something that we don't have a choice in. Since we just moved forward with the land surveys only for McKnight.
Yep.
It is.
But if we wanted to, we could possibly ask for a land survey of that park as an option as well, staking claim on it as like, we are going to move forward with this.
We'd have to plan that. It's more of like a CIP ask, but yes, we could certainly do that.
Okay, because if we have that land survey already, then we can start the design process of that park, which would essentially possibly take it off of the table. and I know that you maybe don't know that answer, and I also want to acknowledge that you're the messenger, and I imagine that was not fun to read. So thank you for telling us. Our frustration obviously is not with you in that. But my follow-up question would be, if we were to move forward and also adding like a land survey or some way to like stake claim on the remaining thing in the next year, is that something we could do?
I also want to encourage every one of you guys to talk to Brian Frandl about this and to also bring to his attention your frustrations about it as well, because as a council member, I'm frustrated. The decision was made and it wasn't talked about. It wasn't brought to your attention. You're being told this right now. And I am not afraid to say that on YouTube and whatever this is on, because I'm frustrated about it. So that said, I encourage you guys to do that kind of communication to him, because it was not okay for you guys to do this park study, to have this even as an option that looked beautiful, then to be told that there is going to be a student house built there now.
Honestly, a little bit greater, my second thought that came to mind when I heard that was one of the things the HGA had told us in the survey of that park and their concerns and the reason for putting the community garden at that corner versus the park was the rate of accidents and people going over that corner because of how dangerous that intersection is. And now we're putting students there, building homes, and potentially someone's life in danger. That's why we had the community garden, because it would do less damage if someone hit it versus a playground. So that's this, but had they come to us and asked us that, had they been in those meetings where they had heard that feedback? Because every time I drive past it, I think of HGA, who spent all that time surveying that land, saying the rate of incidents here is really high and the danger of a car coming into this lot is significant compared to other homes in the area because of the danger of that intersection. And I can't unsee it every time I go there thinking, oh yeah, I could see someone in the dark accidentally. So I would have advocated for no home in general, because I don't think anyone who would own that home would be in a safe spot either, so.
Aren't they putting a roundabout there?
That's been a discussion for many years of putting one there, but it's never been a solid plan.
We were told they couldn't because the fire trucks couldn't get around it. Yeah. It's part of the HGA, because that was another part of when we were talking about that. It's cool, we didn't spend any time talking about that lot.
I'd like to
Okay.
also say that I think the student housing program is super cool,
Yeah.
awesome opportunity, it's great. I'm really proud that the city does that, but yeah, I'm not pleased with the location and us kind of being blindsided by it.
Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, so the next one is reports from commissioners and park liaisons. People requested at the last meeting that we combine the two line items that were previously separated, because we all just kind of defaulted to doing both at the same time. So I appreciate you all advocating for what you need and asking for what you need. So, and Sarah, I'm sorry I didn't respond to my email for a month. So thank you for just doing that. So let's do reports from commissioners. Is there anyone who wants to go first instead of me just calling on people?
Sure, I'll go first, because I actually have two things to talk about. I met with Ron and Thedea, the horticulturist that he was referring to earlier. She is great, and we walked the shoreline along. You've heard me kind of complain about these invasive trees along Silver Lake on the, I'm thinking of the south and east side mostly, but we kind of went all the way from the beach to that park, if you can picture that, and talked a lot about what is growing up in there. She identified a lot of things that really are invasive. And the idea is to trim back. You know, there were a lot of willows. That's what the very fast-growing trees are. I thought it was buckthorn or something, but they're willows. And so some of them will grow up to be beautiful trees, even though they're volunteer plants. But she advocated, she recommended trimming back. And so I was very satisfied with what what she recommended. Ron's going to take that plan, and they're not going to do anything until the winter. You know, you don't trim at this time, apparently, so they'll wait until, it sounds like they'll be getting going on that in the winter. So I was very pleased with that, that plan. And they have been working on the stuff by the beach, to the left as you're facing the water. They've been removing a lot of that, and will continue to work on that, I think. So there's that. And then I just want to bring to our attention something. It's not in my, it's not my jurisdiction. It's not my park, but I know someone who's very concerned about the safety of the intersection of the Gateway Trail and South Avenue. If you can picture where we're coming from, the what's the park called?
So it's the Urban Ecology
Urban
Center.
Ecology Center. You're
Yep, where you
coming
can see
from
the sign.
there,
And you cross the street?
and you cross the
Oh,
street.
okay.
That is a
Yes.
really,
Yeah.
really
Nobody stops,
busy,
yeah.
busy intersection, and there are, and very, people, yeah, whether they've grown accustomed, there are, I just walked it today, just so I could be clear on this, but there are a couple stop signs, or, you know, a tiny little prepare to stop.
Yeah.
And then something printed on the road, but I know if I'm on a bike, I'm not really looking down at, it does say stop ahead. You know, there are some precautions, and then there's a stop sign, but maybe it's the fact that it's on this curve.
You can't see any cars approaching.
Right.
I was biking that just a week ago, and I was like, I can't see if there are any cars are approaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is another one of these things, like the lake stuff, where there are several entities that are involved. So the DNR, who controls the trail or you know, has jurisdiction over the trail and signage on the trail. And then the county, I was just talking to Ron, the county is the one that is really responsible for any signage or any mowing even of that area. Ron said he had to work really hard to, but finally was able to mow down a lot of that so that at least it's more visible.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit better about it after just checking it out today and seeing that you can, but you can see it now, but if those grow up again, if that grass grows up again, and visibility is not great, my friend is just really concerned that some tragedy is going to happen that could be prevented. And there is some good signage, and they did add, I think the county added a reflective pole, so that at night you can see, or at dusk maybe, your headlights would see on each side of the road, right where that yield, it's not a stop sign for the traffic, nor am I advocating that it should be a stop sign, but what my friend would love to see, and I agree, would be there's just a flashing, just something to call attention. There's bold yellow arrows pointing to it and everything for cars, but I have a feeling people just kind of stop seeing that after a while. But something flashing there that could be triggered by an oncoming biker or runner or somebody, or
Can you put that on your, to talk to Brian about? The only concern I have is that it's because you're talking county and we're talking DNR.
yeah.
But we did the same thing downtown North St. Paul with the post office because there was so many concerns about the crossing over the street that we ended up putting in the flashing lights at the down.
Is there a flashing light now
Yeah,
downtown?
it's been there for a while.
Okay.
Couple years.
Great, okay.
Yep. So that's why I think just check with Brian. I'm not sure if we can, but see if there's an opportunity for something.
Okay.
Even the signs that you attach, I find that these are even more effective, is the ones that say state law to stop for pedestrians in crosswalk. My parents are from Oklahoma, and it's not a law there to stop for pedestrians in a non-marked crosswalk. So, like, unless it's a stop sign with a crosswalk, a crosswalk like that in Oklahoma is you yield to the cars. So, like, they don't stop because they don't, and every time I'm with them, I yell, I'm like, you have to yield. They're like, we do? Like, and when they see the signs that say state law, stop, like, it's a little yellow sign that goes under the yield sign. I think that can do wonders too, but I think those little, I was just in Little Canada yesterday, they have the solar ones with stoplights that, with dusk at flash or something like that, but.
that would be great.
The other, and I brought this to council before, the other issue with that is that there's no sidewalk and there's a really narrow border and so many people going from holiday or school buses. I've petitioned for a sidewalk on South because I think there's no less than like 50 kids that are on that road constantly and there's no sidewalk or barrier from the
Yeah,
cars.
just walk there.
So I think that whole thing probably needs a redo, but was told that until that road gets, that's not a consideration until the road gets done. But a sign would be an easier way to like at least temporarily give some notice of that.
And to your point, you're talking about the sign about yielding to pedestrians in a crosswalk. That's great. However, this is such a unique intersection where the angle is such that I don't even know if somebody would see. It's as if, I think the concern is more bikers and runners and stuff not really recognizing the busyness of that street until they're right on it.
Yeah.
Because you can't see cars approaching, and then you're angled wrong to see that there was a stop sign either. So I hadn't been there in a while, so I was like, oh, cars
Yeah.
have to stop for me. And then I saw the stop sign when I was like on it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I better brake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the-
I live right down, yeah, my
Yeah.
house is like 2 roads down, so I'm on
Yeah,
it all
you
the
live
time.
right
Yeah.
there, and my friend drives it all the time, and
Yeah.
she said she stopped.
It's also hard because people coming from, you're coming down the hill from here, and when you get the green light, that's not that far away
Oh,
from, so people have already sped.
Yeah.
It's not like necessarily the driver's fault, but it's happened to me where I've been sitting at the light, I get a green, and I rev up and I go, and all of a sudden there's a biker and I slam my brakes, like, so it's a bad distance to bike ratio too, because
Yeah.
it's happened to me too where I know to stop for people, but I'm like, I just got going and I'm like, oh crap, you
Well,
know.
and sometimes
pardon
you're
my French.
focusing on the light. Your focus now is beyond.
But I think asking for what we could do, and then maybe there's a way to notify like bikers as well, like blind approach or something, like a little sign, maybe that's something we
Well,
could reach out to the
yeah,
DNR.
And there are, blind approach maybe.
Yeah.
Because there are some stop signs, but I'm guessing if you bike the trail.
Training the bikers maybe instead of car drive, but yeah,
Well, we can do both.
yeah,
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 we
yeah.
can do both.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. Those are my 2 things.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
Okay. I went to Great Addition, because I wouldn't have thought to think about that, but I
Yeah.
remember as I literally biked it last Wednesday, it was a touch point, because I was like, cars coming, do I have enough time to make it? Are they gonna see me? And
Yeah,
because I didn't
it's-
see there was a stop for me. I went to the yoga in the parks last Wednesday, which was the 3rd exercise in the parks. It was a great turnout. I think there were
Great.
like about 20 people there.
That's great.
It was a lovely time. I think everyone enjoyed it. And then, like Sarah said, I did complete the passport program.
Yay! Celebrity.
That was really cool and fun. Would recommend. I finally got to all the parks, so now I've seen them all.
Good.
Other than that, I've noticed the work at Casey. That's been great to see. Stuff's happening, even just the like road work, tubing situation. That is it.
Thanks. Why don't we just swing over to you? If that works.
Yeah, I don't have anything aside from noting the progression too, and I have had a lot of people ask me about the black fencing at Casey, and they think it's like not connected to the road work, but I think it
Is that the
is.
stuff you talked about last time? Is it temporary fencing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it runs like the whole north side of the park, and there's a lot of people.
Yeah, it
Just-
is part of that.
Yeah.
Road construction, so hopefully wrapped up here early October.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
Okay.
Nothing to report from my parks, except there has been a group using that Colby shelter like every other night. Because the lights go on and they're like doing a dance. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if it's TikTok. I don't know what it is, but it's really fun to see them using it. It's probably a group of young adults. I think they're like learning some kind of dance or something, but they're using that. They push the tables out of the way and use the space. So it's just exciting to see use in the park for something I wouldn't have expected, but yeah. And then the weeds did get cut down at Urban Ecology, so it looks much nicer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was DNR that had to do that, but that's all I got.
two things. The first one, I know that this also is kind of city business and not necessarily parks. I was at the Cowan building reno meeting because they're redoing that building starting in 2026, or in the spring. And there was a ton of talk about the intersection of South and Margaret Street and how a lot of people roll through the stop signs regularly. The speeding is excessive. It's just a very unsafe intersection. And so I wanted to bring it here to just like get that on the record and see if there's anything that we could do. I know and acknowledge that it's like an emergency vehicle road, so we maybe can't like put speed bumps or stuff. But anyone who lives in that area, you can talk to them and they are like, we literally would pay ourselves to have like speed bumps of some sort. So I just wanted to put that out there, see if there's anything we can do for that, because there's a lot of kid traffic and it's not safe.
Would a flashing light at the intersection help?
No, well, sorry, I just poo-pooed your idea right away. We've had police come and sit out there. It doesn't stop. It's the main road too for the motorcycles coming off of the freeway. And they all just roll through it or blast through it because they're Helen, Margaret, and Charles are the only ones who don't have stop signs at every single block.
Right.
And so people choose those roads because they can just speed through. And they definitely take advantage of it.
First Avenue is another one.
Yeah.
Lie.
Yes, exactly. So that whole section is just really, really like dangerous. And I just wanted to openly say it here that we need to talk about doing something about it. So maybe a flashing sign, maybe, but nothing that we've tried
Yeah.
has stopped it.
Rumble strips? You know how you get
Yeah.
notified on a highway
I don't know.
before a
just-
big intersection? I don't know.
Yep, just wanted to use my platform to advocate for that. The second thing is the city council, and please correct me if I get this wrong. The city council chose to reallocate the dollars that were dedicated for the community center into other projects within the city because they did the feasibility study and it said it was gonna cost like 3 million more.
So I'm going to correct you.
Yeah, please, yeah.
We've declined the dollars in moving forward. We have not, we have declined moving forward with the community center.
Yeah.
So we are not moving forward with the community center. It was brought to our attention by Brian at the last meeting that we have the ability to discuss these dollars and if we want to reallocate them because they potentially could be reallocated, and we have a Congresswoman man that would advocate for us to reallocate these dollars. They still need to go through approval process. So
With
we
the
have
state.
not, both state and federal.
Yep.
No, wait, federal we have, state we'd have to, federal we're granted it. The state is where we have it's in the agreement that it's pretty extensive, like you have to use it for this purpose, or this purpose, or this purpose, and now we can potentially reuse those dollars to something else, but we don't know what we can do or what want to. So we have not turned down any money, we have not accepted any money. We have been granted, but once we turn it down, we don't get those dollars back.
Right.
So we've been granted, we have not said yes, and we have not said no, but what we have said no to and what was agreed upon, voted on, I'm not gonna say agreed upon, what was voted on was that we, as in the city of North St. Paul, was not going to move forward with the community center.
Thank you. And so the city manager has said that there's going to be an extensive process to talk about other potential projects that the money could be used towards.
we have the ability to discuss
We
that,
have the
yes.
ability to discuss
And
it.
that would be revisited. When is that going to be revisited? I don't know. I haven't talked with Brian yet. And I typically talk with him actually tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
About what council looks like. So those will be on my agenda to talk about, but.
Perfect. Okay, so with that being said, there was, or I brought up the idea of, could it be reallocated, or could we look at potentially using it for some of the McKnight project? Specifically because I'm not well versed in the language, but like we have a big a building project that we're putting on McKnight. And it would be similar to some of what was talked about at the community center. And so I just want to let you all know that I put that idea out there. Cassidy is aware and is going to have conversations possibly on our behalf about if there's potential to do that. So I just wanted to let you all know that.
I am a huge proponent of it. I will help advocate for it. I think it's a brilliant idea. And I would personally like to see something done with that area. And I think the improvement right there would be fantastic. Now, everybody else will say, well, why can't we put it to the roads? Or why can't we put it to this or this or this? Where can we reallocate it? Roads are going to be a constant. We're going to constantly, we can go down this rabbit hole, right? We're going to constantly have to work on roads. We're going to have to constantly improve buildings. These dollars were supposed to go to a community center to revamp our building.
Yeah.
It's been turned down. That said, when Laura sent an email, I was a huge advocate for let's turn around to support McKnight. Now, this is going to be a discussion. How long it's going to be, I'm not sure how drawn out this could be. This could be beyond my year of serving that we have left. But keep an eye out on packet. Watch council. Watch for discussion. Take a look at workshop. But I am here for your guys' support, and I will tell you I'm a huge advocate for that right now.
Great idea.
I will say that it wasn't just my idea. I have to give credit to the community member who reached out to me. So they don't want to be named, but so, shout out to them for caring, paying attention, showing up, advocating. We appreciate you. Okay. Any last minute things that popped up as we were talking?
Yeah. Okay. So when I went to the exercise in the parks Wednesday, and then I biked to all the southern parks, there were a bunch of people at all the parks, and it was so lovely to see everyone using facilities in different ways. There was a party at one, there was playground usage at another, there were people walking through Southwood. It was lovely. It was great. I was like, oh, this is why we do this.
Yes.
Yay.
That's great to
So,
hear.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of events in the park, tomorrow night is the reschedule of the adult movie in the park at Halsey. So I was originally supposed to volunteer for that event, but it got rained out. I'm unable to volunteer tomorrow, so I don't know if, did you step in? Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sorry. Kids back to school night. But I just wanted to, in case anyone has free time, looks like a beautiful evening tomorrow, so go see them.
I can't, I'm a teacher, back to school night, but,
Yeah.
I can't, but it's good that you're going to be there. Where was yoga on Wednesday? Halsey, okay,
Oh.
cool. That's a big turnout.
I love it.
It was about
20 people.
It was
that's
about 20
yeah.
to 24 people for each event.
That's
I was
great.
really impressed with the turnout.
That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, good variety of all sorts of people.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
All right. Any other last minute things that people were checking?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you good? Good. Okay. So, we need a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn the Parks and Rec meeting today.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Adjourned.
Whew.